Well, good evening. Welcome back to Virtual Pool 4 Online, and welcome back for a big weekend in this Virtual 9-Ball World Championship. We've got 3 one-loss side matches tonight, this Friday night. We've also got Friday night 9-Ball running. There's 9 in it at the moment. There's an hour and 5 minutes to go before that tournament starts. But we've got 5 minutes to go before Mr. Strokem plays Supernoob and Potman plays hairpig in the first 2 of these one-loss side matches. Races to 13, and then at 8 o'clock, that's in 2 hours time, we have the match between Albinario and LS3. At least it's on the schedule. Still trying to find out why LS3 ended up forfeiting their first match. I can't remember what was happening in that match, but anyway, from what I saw in the bracket, she ended up forfeiting it, quitting before the game was finished or something. Anyway, I don't know whether somebody else can maybe fill me in on the detail in that. But all players are here as far as the first 2 matches are concerned, although Potman I don't think rates his chances very much because he's not been in practicing at all. Not seen him anywhere. So we've got Potman just arrived. Hairpig is here. Mr. Strokem's been in warming up, as has Supernoob. Well, good evening. Welcome. No doubt we'll have a few more people dropping in. Now the problem we've got is what match to watch, because we're going to have to keep an eye on the other one, because we can't stream 2 at the same time. So we have to make our choice. Well, I would say that well, it's actually difficult to say. I'm guessing the Mr. Strokem Supernoob match would be fairly evenly matched. Potman could give Hairpig trouble, so we'll go with that one to start with. But no doubt Hairpig will end up being the favourite. But you never know. You just never know. So the other thing about the weekend as well is we got big matches tomorrow and on Sunday night. We've got Mal against Snake Eyes. We've got Larry against Cobra, and we've got Bedhead against Stub. That is, I think that's on Tuesday. So some very big matches to come. Right, this. But let's have a quick look and see how many's in Friday night 9-Ball. There was, I think, 9 the last time I checked. See whether it's went up or down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Still got 9. So there's an hour now. By this time in the last few weeks, Friday night 9-Ball's been full up. So of course that might be slightly different now that the lockdown is relaxing a bit more. More people may well be out taking advantage of that. So it might not be a full house tonight. Good evening to Semi-Pro. Good evening to Hazad. And these rooms will be going up. No, I think we're still a minute away. We're still a minute away. I'll have a quick drink. Well, I have to say I watched the snooker this afternoon, and Mark Williams is very dangerous because I think he's got a lot of these guys scared. Because he's just making his mind up. He said it, he's openly said it. If he sees a chance to, he's going for it. He ain't hanging about. And that's his last match, the final session. And also today, in the after the interval, he came out from 3-1 down to John Higgins, come out one every frame after the interval. He's going to be extremely dangerous. Now, he might well run out of gas at some point, but up until then, he is not hanging around. He's playing fast and furious, and nobody will want to meet him. And he's now ended up the session with a 2-frame lead, as has, what's his name? Little Orphan Annie against Jack Lazowski. They've got the end of their second session and he's up 9-7, I believe. Right, so here we go. The rooms are up and we're going to join the Potman hairpig room to start with and see how things go. So we'll get in. So these are races to 13. And like I say, Potman, I don't think rates his chances very well. He's not been in practicing, getting any warm-up whatsoever, so I think he feels he's only here to make up the numbers. Good evening. Welcome everybody else, or anybody else who's not talking. But here Pig is in, and here Pig with the US flag, and Potman hanging around. Now the thing is, if Potman doesn't get in here, then I ain't hanging around in here either. I might do a flit and go into the other one that may well be started while we're sitting here twiddling our thumbs waiting him to get his arse into the room. Right, let's get the what do you call it, the bracket up if I can find it. Well, we've got a match that's underway. When Potman can be bothered to get into the room, then we might think about joining it. So we're in the first rack of the other match that's running at the same time between Mr. Strokem, who I believe is from the States, and Supernoob, who according to that is from the States as well. And we are early in the first rack. The one ball has gone. Where's that 6 ball going? Where's the cue ball going? Well, there you go. Ball in hand for an ambitious 2-9 combo. There you go. Well, that's killed the 6 ball. So Mr. Strokem's chance of running the rack has probably just gone with that single shot. He's killed the 6 ball in behind the 7, and now he needs to get a good angle in this 5 if he's going to get a breakout. Somewhere between the 8 and 9. Well, that's actually too high an angle. He needed to be shallower. He needed to be over here to play this shot, to try and get the breakout. That sort of line, and then he could have spun it into the 7 and 6. I'm supposed to have. I'm supposed to get my BT fibre broadband fitted next Wednesday. There was a knock at the door yesterday afternoon, and it was two BT engineers outside, two big white open reach vans, and they were fitting the cable from the telegraph pole, because obviously BT cable for fibre isn't underground like Virgin. I mean, we've got Virgin in our area now, and it's under the ground. And the BT engineer said, "Oh, we're going to run the cable through the back wall into the living room." And I said, then it dawned on me. I thought, well, why is it going into the living room when the PC's up the stairs? And I left it 10 minutes, and one of them was up at the corner of the house actually working on what we call a telegraph pole, a phone pole, or whatever the hell you call it, a big wooden stick thing. The things that the tornadoes blow down in the States every single day. But they don't put them underground, so they ran the cable across from the phone line. And I said to the guy when he was up the ladders, I said, "Are you sure this is meant to go into the actual lounge, into the living room?" And I said, "Because the computer's right next to your head. It's right in the bedroom." And he says, "All right, well, it would be easier putting it in there then, wouldn't we?" I said, "Well, I thought that would have been logical." He says, "No, we're just used to putting them in people's living rooms." I said, Jesus Christ, that's where the computer is to start with. I mean, God. And I said to the guy, I said, "Look, I've been waiting in 2 months on you guys turning up. I've had about 6 cancellations. They're absolutely snowed under. They can't fit it quick enough for people. But yet they don't have the decency to phone up and tell you they're not coming, because the first day he was supposed to come, he never turned up. Never even got a phone call, and I had to phone him and found out, he's not coming. Alright, that's great. What a carry on. Anyway, that's my rant over for the day. Mr. Strokem, 1-0 up. I mean, I said to the guy, I said, "Look, I've got the BT hub came at the end of February. That shows you how long ago it was supposed to be installed." And I said, "Look, I've got the hub installed. I don't care when you fit the fibre, because I've still got my good internet connection as it is anyway. So I'm not fussy. I've just got the new hub's installed. It took all of 30 seconds to plug in and connect the cables to it. There was nothing else to do." So anyway, I thought there'd still been 56k in Wales. Are you serious, Larry? Yeah, that's what I'll have. I think it was 100 and... What did he say? I think it was up to 150 meg or something I'd supposed to be getting. I said, "Look, that's more than what I'm getting at the moment, and it's perfectly adequate for what I use it for." But as I say, everything's all wired in. And he says, "Well, we'll put it in through the bedroom window." I said, "No, you can't do that." He said, "We need 2 power supplies." I said, "Well, there goes the problem there straight away, because believe it or not, the power supply for my existing modem and connection are actually out in the hallway. I've got a cable running under the door because I've got no more sockets. Every socket I've got here is I've got 2 extra gang plugs installed into the sockets, and they're all full, because I've got monitors plugged into it. I've got this PC plugged into it. The old PC still plugged in. I've got my old speakers still plugged in, because it's got a powered bass amp thing in it and everything. And it's absolutely crawling with cables. I said, "Look, it can't go in there either." So when a guy turns up next week, he's going to have to put it in from the best way I could see, the side of the house, at the top of the stairs, and then just run the cable across the hallway. Tack it to the skirting boards or whatever the hell they want to do with it. But anyway, presumably Potman's arrived in the room yet, so I don't see the timeout coming up. Mind you, we probably won't either. But Mr. Strokem going to have to play a good one here. I've forgotten now. I think. See, I'm paying for my fibre plus my phone each month. I'm sure it's 40. I think I'm paying 43. I'm actually getting it less than what I was paying before I went for the upgrade. And the reason for that is I did my old, having worked in sales for years. These guys. You just tell them you want a deal, unless you're prepared to go in and negotiate a deal, particularly with a broadband provider who you've been with for years. And I've been with BT a lot longer than 7 years. And every time my account expires, I make sure I get less. I pay less than what they're offering me, because that's the way they'll keep you as a customer. And if you're too frightened to open your mouth and say to them, look, I mean, the first thing I did was find out what Virgin can give me. And Virgin could give me it for I think it was 47 or something, which was to give me a faster speed anyway. And when I told the guy at BT that, he said, right, hang on. So he obviously went and spoke to his supervisor and did the old sale save technique. Well, that's Potman's hard luck. He was too late getting in the room. I was in there in time. He never showed up at the right time, so I'm in this room. So sod him, as they say. Good evening, Mark. Well, we'll see the end of this rack and then we'll drop in and look at 12-foot arm kid. I see Leicester won last night. What was it, 3-0? Against, was it West Brom? Well, easy safety. And that is not bad. That is pretty good. Not difficult to kick, but obviously, well, managed to find a way to miss it. So Supernoob has the ideal opportunity now to get on the board, but to show us if they're going to be capable of running this table. Now this needs a stun. If you're confident enough with the angle, a stun down to the 5. And, well, right on the rail, so I don't know whether there's enough angle to pinch and come around to the middle. There is enough, just enough. But, well, maybe just try and kill this cue ball a wee bit. Well, that's now left it a bit more dodgy, but the angle's at least decent enough to get back out for the 9. And there goes the mistake. So, Supernoob has had their chance. Mr. Strokem going to pinch this to go 3-0 up. Right, well, let's jump into the match we were originally starting with Potman and Hairpig. And Hairpig 2-0 up. And we're just looking to drop in the 1 and come up the table slightly for this 2-ball. And that's a good angle in the 2, just to brush down past the 5 and still leave an angle off the 3 to get back up for the 5. That should be the plan here. Just miss the 5. Little bounce. And well, this needs to be, again, it needs to be played confidently. You've got to stun this in and make sure that cue ball gets up to about the middle pocket if you can. You don't want to hit this short. See, that's not getting there. That should have been another 1.5 foot up the table to open that angle and make it much, much easier to play this 5-ball. It's now a tester for Hairpig. It needs to bounce a bit further into the table, makes it a bit more comfortable to play this 8 and hold for the 9. Well, I don't like the idea. He's finally digging down. I don't like the idea of running through and running into the 9. Because then you haven't a clue where things are going to end up. Well, he's still run into the 9. And now it's up in the air as to whether he can take this out. I don't think that was... Again, that all came about from the previous shot and getting awkward on the 7. Because it always leads like a follow-on, awkward in 1, getting awkward in the next one. But that's a good pot in the 9. And it's 3-0. So Potman, maybe he should have done some practice. Well, you're looking for a big turnaround, Stub. So Hairpig's come up dry. Well, once again, there's no real great advantage in making this combo for 2 reasons. First of all, you don't know where the 1's ending up, and secondly, you can't get to the 2. And Potman may well be in trouble himself because he's left that 1, just an edge of it showing. And that 8 ball's a good guide for just feathering the 1 and then running for cover. Well, Hairpig, you want to take that again because that was awful. That was pretty poor. Touched like a sledgehammer on the edge of that 1 ball. But nevertheless, there's still the same problem. If Potman can, I think he can see enough of that to pot it, no problem, but he's going to have to get down the table and get a fair bit of movement in this cue ball just so he can see this 2. Well, I'd be trying to pinch an angle and spinning that. He's trying to draw it. I don't see the reason why he couldn't have potted that ball and pinched an angle and went forward with inside right to come down. to me, that's the way to have played that shot there and stole an angle to actually make a shot to get there, because now he can't see the two. Well, he can see an edge of it, but he can't see really enough of it to do much with it. And now he's hung it over the middle with the double kiss. So again, you know, you're talking about using your imagination to create some shots sometimes, and that shot there that Potman had previously was one where he should have been able to see that to get that cue ball moving. Even though it was pretty straight, you could try and force the angle with a spin and pinch in a wee bit of the pocket. And Hairpig having a go at breaking the 3 there, just missed it. Obviously the 3 doesn't go. Again, not a bad safety. Distance is always the priority if you can't get cover. And again, we'll see why in a minute, because you've got to get a good edge on this 3 ball if you're going to try and get distance with the return safety, and that's so difficult to do. Well, again, that wouldn't have been my way of doing it. I mean, why play it over the corner pocket when the safer place was over to the right as we look? I mean, that's just asking for trouble, because it puts so much onus in you getting cover up behind that 4 ball. And well, let's just say Potman's choice of shot leaves a lot to be desired so far, because whatever he's thinking was there, it went straight down the pan as soon as he hit it. And he's been gifted a chance from Hairpig here, and he has to take this out. He can't be messing about and make a balls up of this, because there's no reason why he should. Everything's there. All you have to do is be sensible, and you should get the job done. Now, the first thing he wants to do here is make sure he gets right up to the middle of the table. He doesn't want to be chickening out and leaving this long. He should be getting up to the middle of the table. But it's all a judgment of pace. That's not bad. I mean, it's slightly the wrong side of the 6, but you know, if you want, he can drop that in and check the cue ball and just come off the rail and leave the angle. He's trying to just help it in, and now well, again, I would prefer to go forward with this. I don't like the idea of drawing with the angle that's on this 7 ball. I would prefer to run it and just make sure I run either short of the 9 or behind the 9, but not too far. So the danger is coming down below the 9 and overhitting it. And he's made sure he's just going to stay topside. So once again with this shot, do you check this with inside right to straighten the cue ball off the rail? Let's see what he does. Well, he's putting it on it. And that will do. Bedhead 1915 against Stubb. That's Tuesday night, isn't it? Because that's perfect for me, because I'm off the Wednesday and the Thursday. Anyway, Potman has got himself off the mark now. Can he get a shot? A ball and a shot. Good movement in the break, but again, as we've seen time and time again, loads of movement, but nothing going in. And again, the other thing you don't want happening is leaving a shot for your opponent. Well, like I said, Stubb, right before this started, you've got a Potter's chance of winning this tournament. You know, and if that's your one piece in your armoury, then it's not enough to just be a potter of balls to win this. You're going to have to get lucky as well, I think, to survive by just trying to pot your way out of trouble rather than trying to avoid trouble. Well, this 4-ball looks as if he's just going to have to go down the rail with the 5. No spectacular stuff. If he can get really straight on the 5, it would be even better. That slight angle in the 5 though means it's a bit dicey to be running forward towards that 8. So he's just stunned it, and the perfect angle in the 6 now. So, hairpig looks very likely he's going to stretch that lead again. Oh dear, what's going to happen here? Needs a kiss here, needs a kiss. And it's all gone wrong. Now, can he cut that back? I think he can. Has no idea where the cue ball's going. Well, he's got it far too thin. He might end up getting this safe. No, he's left Potman the easy cut. And of course, you don't want to just let this cue ball run all over the shot. Just hit it enough so it goes in, but don't let the cue ball get out of control. So Potman's been gifted there. Well, I think Bedhead's been playing pretty good as well during the tournament. I wouldn't discount Bedhead. But Cobra, on paper, Cobra's the one player that's on a par with what Mal's doing. But you never know, because it's all, I mean, when you get to this stage in the tournament where those guys are, it's not about whether or not you can pot a ball and string balls together. It's about how your luck is. That's what's going to make the difference. It's going to be down to the break. It's going to be down to the dry breaks and the odd golden break that might change a match. it's unlikely that that either of those players is going to completely fall apart. And then, of course, you've got Larry there lurking in the background. Still doing it his way. Now, I mean, I'm taking bets straight away. I'm saying 2-1 on that Stubb quits before the end of the match. If he's losing, he'll run like a wee girl again. That's odds on. Well, you know, if I was Larry's sports psychologist, that's the quiet word I'd be having in his ear. Larry, do yourself a favour for just this one time. Ditch that mouse and try something that only costs you about $5, and I guarantee you, you'll have far better control over certain shots, and it might keep you in the tourney. So, Potman, still within one, gifted the last rack. He's going to have to do things for himself, though. He's going to have to start contributing, making things happen if he's going to come through this match and win it. He can't be relying on charity. Well, you see, that's where you're going wrong, Larry. That's exactly where you're going wrong. You've not stuck with it long enough. But I've got God knows how many cheap mice here, and I guarantee they're all better than a trackball. Every day of the week. Now, can Potman get into that too? Well, I don't think he can. He can certainly hit the two, but he certainly ain't potting it. But if I was him, I'd be giving this a good slam, because if he just nuzzles it, he's unlikely to get it safe. Well, he has got it safe. I'll take that back. But he could be in trouble here in a second. If Hairpig can just brush off the two without scratching. But he doesn't want to nudge the three, because that would open the two up. Don't remind him of that, Stubb. I've got that in video. Yeah, that was a sore one to watch, let alone have played. See that? I mean, Larry's point is the trackball mouse was good enough to get him to 112 or whatever it was. You know, it was good enough to get him there, but it wasn't good enough to rely on. In fact, you know, the trackball mouse wasn't the problem. See, when you get it right down to the brass tacks, the trackball mouse was not the problem. In what happened here. What happened was Larry didn't play the right shot in the first place, leading up to where he got to. He should have done what I suggested, pinched a bit of an angle and stunned it, and he wouldn't have had any problem not getting the cue ball to the object ball. Thereby, the problem would have never been there in the first place. That was the problem. Good evening, Bill. Good afternoon. No, I'm talking about previously, I think, to that shot. You weren't stuck to the rail when you could have nudged. I think was it the 9? I can't remember. I need to look at it again. But my tactical genius brain was saying what you should have done, although I can't remember what I said. Well, this is as good a chance to certainly pot the 2 and the 3, but what's the chances of potting this 4? So there's still work ahead for either player. Well, it is a factor that the correct shot, had it been delivered properly, would never have led to the situation. And then it wasn't just that. There was another one later on. You know, it's all in the past though. Well, your miss didn't cost you the match. That miss that Larry made let you back into it. You were dead and buried had Larry kept going. But it's all ifs and buts and maybes and whatever happened. We will never know. Well, Hairpig has got a toughie. Yep, and Larry blew it again after that one, yep. Yep. Oh, the pain and the suffering watching that. Oh, that's a good shot in the 5. Needs another one now. Big distance here. Big bit of power. Big stun. And big rattle in the pockets for the 6 ball if he doesn't get it flush. And if that slows up, that is very nice indeed. Might be a bit straight though. Yeah, a bit straight. Now you don't want to try and pinch too much with this. So a draw onto the rail and out. Not bad. But this to go back into a 2-rack lead. Right. Supernoob and Mr. Strokem, 7 racks to 3 at the moment in that match for Mr. Strokem. Yeah, I think well, that hasn't helped Potman's circumstances. The first golden break of the day, certainly in this match, and it's now 5-2. Well, I think it's time that Potman was proactive because, you know, he's he's going to have to not necessarily be the aggressor, but he's going to have to get a lot wiser here if he's going to stay in this match. Here's a table that is not difficult to run out. Let's be honest, it's not difficult. Plenty of room to see this 3 ball, and a nice angle on the 3 to get over for the 4. So there's the first obstacles negotiated there. So he's now got the angle off the 3 to come over to the right side. Now the worst thing that will happen here is he scratches in the middle. It depends what he does with the cue ball, but he wants to be helping it over a bit rather than leaving himself a huge distance to pot the 4. You see, he's going way up table, which means he's got to work harder with the cue ball to get good on this 5. I mean, had he actually tried to squirt across this way a bit, he'd have been better on the 4, and he wouldn't have to do so much. So now he can basically go forward and around and maybe get on this 5. He's no, tell a lie, he's dead straight. He's absolutely plumb straight on this 4 ball. And that's why he's missed the 4, trying to do things with the cue ball. And again, to me, it went wrong with the 3 ball to start with. Had to do a wee bit more on that 3 ball to go over to the right sooner, rather than running way up table and leaving himself far too much to do. That's what I'm meaning. You've got to get a bit wiser to the situation. It's about leaving things simple for yourself, not more and more difficult, forcing you into doing things you don't want to be doing. Well, this is a wee bit straightish. There is an angle. It's got to be punched in though if you want to get that cue ball out and reasonable on the 7. You don't want to be leaving the big cut in the 7. And it's wiped its feet, but it's gone in. But the cue ball's got to where you want it to be. Oh, Supernoob bottled it. Oh, there we go. Well, there we are. That's made up our mind what match we're sticking with now. And I just hope LS3 doesn't get the same idea against Bedhead, although I've got a sneaking suspicion that might happen as well if she actually turns up. Did anybody know why she forfeited in her first match? That's what I meant to ask, because I think I saw that as a forfeit on the bracket. I'm sure the match started, did it not? But she quit before the end. Or was it the internet? The internet went down or something. Oh aye, that's a coincidence, isn't it? Yeah. Control Alt Delete. Yeah. Oh, you know my opinion on people that quit in matches. I've got no time for anybody who quits in a match. I mean, I've got more respect for SD92, who played Albinario and get beat 13-0, than I have for anybody who quits, who doesn't see a match out to the end. You know, that's, I mean, I'm talking about this guy, but it's just, to me it's not good sportsmanship to quit, especially when you've actually entered the bloody tournament. You went to the bother of signing up to it. Larry says that was the third match that LS3 get disconnected, and Cobra says she ain't a quitter. Well, the evidence actually comes out different, my lad. Oh, that was big. He had a brain fart because Supernoob told Shooters Pool Pro told him he was who the hell did he tell him he was again? Anyway. He told him, who was it? He told him he was, and that was enough. He then quit. Or third match. I thought it was a third disconnect. Well, that sounds a bit better. So this match is running away from Potman if something doesn't happen in this rack to start with, because it's certainly not going to be ran out unless that 2 and 4 get broken up sharpish. And that's unlikely to happen. And that little nudge needs a bit of luck. And that was just too much to ask. Oh, aye, Yama. Yeah. Well, the jump escape, but the 2-ball is wide open. Now, how would I play this looking at that? I would just drop that in dead weight, that 2-ball into the middle pocket. Just drop it in dead weight, make sure I've got a high enough angle on the 3 to be able to pot it, and try and get down the table avoiding traffic. That's the trouble with the next shot. Now, there's a danger here anyway, which you can't avoid. If you pot this and you pot it with a bit of inside to make sure that you come down this way, you could finish too high or you could finish behind the 7. That's not bad. I mean, I suppose that's about as best as you could expect from there, other than going below the 7. But at least he's got an angle. The problem is he might want to put a wee bit of spin on it. He might run into this 9, so he wants to help the cue ball around and out of that corner. No guarantee he's going to be good in the 5 though. Oh, this needs to keep running. And it's one of them no man's land shots. Now what do you do? I mean, you've got to go all out for the cut into the corner pocket because the cue ball's going the direction of where the 6 is. So it's all out for the cut. If you're going to cut it in the middle, you've probably even less control of where this cue ball's going to end up. You've got to take the blind pot in the 5 and then try and maybe drag off the pace and skim across here somewhere to at least see the 6. Whether he can actually hold good. He's went all out for the cut. It needs to come around and avoid the 8, and he'll have a shot. And that was well done. But he's got to go all the way though, and he's going to run into the 9 again, I think. Now, if he gently pots this 6, he can come off the 9, and at least be seeing the 7. So that's the pace to play this at. Just gently roll it in, and run on to the 9. Now he wants to hit the other half of the 9, not this half of the 9. Let's see whether he'll hit it at all. Yes, he has, but he's hit it far too hard. Again, touched like a sledgehammer. I mean, he should have just rolled it in and nudged it. He'd have been sitting about there, and he would have had a straight in 7. And now he's got one of those testy ones again, having to dig himself continually out of holes here. And that's one shot too many, I'm afraid. But again, this is where you have to use a wee bit of imagination with a shot. When you look at the angle that cue ball was running off that onto that 9, off the 6, then it had to be a gentler shot. The little voice in my head tells me it's a gentler shot to keep the cue ball in line with the 7. And he just hit it too hard. And that's where it all went wrong. And that's where the rack has gone because of it. I mean, silly things like that. That's the things you have to be mindful of 100% every time you're playing a shot where you're going to be interfering with other balls where you can't avoid them. In this case, he couldn't avoid it, but he could have used it to his advantage, and he didn't. Just played it too heavy. And he's leaking racks because of stuff like that. So that's another one gone. And it's now 7-2. And Potman had an excellent chance there. And it's been thrown away all for one shot. And again, that's a good break by Hairpig. Unlucky though. The 6 ball's gone. No shot in the 1. Obviously the 2 ball is on once the 1 disappears, and it's going to have to be well, possibly a billiard onto the 5 off the 3. But certainly if you could get down in the bottom rail, you could play the combo. But he's just going to play the push out. Good evening. And now Potman has the choice. Does he play or pass? Well, he's gone all out for the bank and hit it far too hard. Now, is Hairpig trying a little cheeky billiard onto the 9? Looks like it to me. A little edge of the 9, chip it into the middle. Yeah, he's missed it. And now Potman has no choice but to start nudging into these with the 1 ball and try and create something here and open it up. He's got to do something just to try and improve it. But I don't think gentle is the word that he should be thinking about here. He just got to get these opened up. Something's got to go in. I mean, he'd be very unlucky for the 5 not to go. But if he hits the 1 towards the 3, it's bound to come off the 3 and hit the 5. That would be the sort of line to take. And that's exactly what he's done. Now, is he going to be able to see this? So, well, he can see the 1. And even if he just tries to push it, he could push it in off the jaw. It will go. It will go. There's enough room to get there, but it's extremely tight. But even if he misses it, there doesn't look to be a line there to get the kick in the 1. That 4 ball looks to be in the way, so he should be taking his time with this. And it goes. And again, if you look at the situation, all you have to do is get right around the angles to be looking pretty good onto this 3. It needs to stay away from the rail. He needs to be able to get into this cue ball and just a quick stun draw off this 3 ball to keep this cue ball completely in play. He doesn't want to be letting the cue ball run if he can help it. He wants to get dug into this and just come back off the 3. If you start running towards this 4, it's not a good idea. And well, he hasn't really got there, has he? He had to play the proper shot, and the proper shot was getting dug into the 3 and stunning across for that 4. Again, just finding ways to make his life difficult. Now he's looking more for the bank. Where's the other? What we got left here? We've got the 7, the 8 and the 9, so everything hinges on this 4 ball for Potman's fate in this rack. And that's not going to get there. And his chance is gone. We once again all for 1 shot for not playing the shot the correct way. That's what's happened in the last rack. That's what's happened in this rack. I mean, that was always asking for trouble. I mean, that 4 ball was there, and the 3 ball was sort of there, let's say. And the angle he had was there, but he was closer to the rail. So you jack up, you stun the 3 in, the cue ball goes that way, you're on the 4. This business of running through and coming up and getting square, just completely selling out by not having the confidence to play the right shot. And if you're going to not play the correct shot, then at least get the wrong shot right by getting the cue ball up the table and getting good on the 7. And he's gifted another rack, all for that 1 shot. It's painful to watch. So, Friday night 9 ball is about 3 minutes away. Let's have a quick look and see how many's in. Larry's signed up for it. And the event is closed. We've got another full week again. That's about 6 weeks in a row. It's been completely full. And that's the place to be on a Friday. And don't forget, in an hour's time, we have the match between, another 1-loss side match between Albinario, who's been red hot since he moved over to the 1-loss side, which isn't good news for LS3. But LS3 is well capable of putting up a stronger defence than what the previous victims of Albinario have been. Meanwhile, it is not looking good for Potman, trailing 8-2. But like I said before, he can't sit here relying on hairpig falling apart. He has to be the protagonist in his own comeback, but he won't do that if he's not prepared to get in there and play the proper shot as and when it's required. And seeing that he can't quite complete a run out. And then another shot of desperation there. I mean, he was never going to be in the 3 ball, so I mean, a shot there that was requiring a decent safety has ended up and just banging and hoping for a double. I think he's running out of ideas here, but it's too soon to be running out of ideas. It's time to buck your ideas up. More to the point. Well, that 3 ball very tight to the 9. Is he going to try and cut it up and glance the 9? Again, try to create the combo. It's close enough to try it. And in it goes. Well played. And it's 9-2. See, that's how imaginative you have to be creating these little shots. You had to get the line of the cut across that 9 ball and, you know, be fully confident in playing it. You might as well consider the state the match is in at the moment, and it's a bonus when it goes in. And hairpig plays the safety. 5 ball hanging over the middle pocket, and when Potman hits this 1, well, he's trying to just get there sort of dead weight. He'll be in trouble in a minute because this 1 ball's going around the table and the cue ball's going to be locked. Has he got enough pace in it though? Yes, he has, and Potman is in dire straits here. He's in Martin Offler territory. Well, he's got the hit, and he's got it reasonably safe. Not a bad outcome. Now, is it worthwhile having a bank on this 1 onto the 5? He might as well have a bank on the 1 up the table. Well, he's gone for length and safety, hairpig. But then again, where was the value in potting the 1 onto the 5, because the 2 balls locked up behind the 6? So the sensible shot was just playing another safety. Well, this time the hit by Potman on the 1 has comboed the 1 onto the 5, but he's in the same situation. He's going to run into the 7 or the 3 here if he goes for the pot in the 1. If he goes for the bank in the 1, he's going to have to probably draw off the 1 to play the bank to get the cue ball up the table so he can actually see the 2, because he ain't potting the 2. You know, if you've decided you're going to pot the 1, then what decision you have made is that you're going to have a sight in a 2 so that you can play a half decent safety. So you accept the fact you can't pot the 2. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that he's entirely 100% certain of what he's doing here. Well, again, all he's done is nudged it into play. Now hairpig, the main goal here is to be able to see the 2. Well, if he's going to spin with right English, he's going to run into the 7, I think. He's avoided that, found a gap, but can he see enough of this to actually punch it around? I don't think there's quite enough. Yeah, well, he got that far too thick. That was the only thing that was wrong with that shot. He just brought the two into the table. But it's a chance for Potman that he simply has to put away. Got to get this done. Well, I would still go with top and right so I could spin around and off the side rail and down to the middle diamond here for this 7 ball. That's what I'd be more inclined to want to do. You've got to hit it though, he's just not hitting these. In fact, maybe looking at that was never on. Maybe the better line was down the left, but got to get into it with enough juice. Well, he's rescued the situation there, but he's going to have to do another big rescue. I don't know whether he can see it enough to bank it. No, he can't. So a feather edge of this 8 ball is what he wants. He just wants to knock a thin layer of paint off the 8, and he's missed it because of it. And that's another one gone. It had to be the thin edge. I mean, he could have tried to jump that and bank it, but whether he would have been able to get enough momentum in the cue ball onto the object ball, I don't know, but he had to really get that thin edge. Well, the jump bank, as I said, would have been an option, but the amount of the 8 ball that you could see was a reasonable enough guide for what he was looking for, but he was certainly looking just to brush that and maybe still get the cue ball up behind the 9. But you know, that's all in the past now. It is looking extremely grim for Potman. And you know, as I said, he's had chances, and the chances he's had, he's blown, and he's not been proactive in this match whatsoever. None whatsoever has he been proactive. He's been trying to dig himself out of holes, losing chances of running out because of wrong shot choices, and that's how you end up like this. But as we say, you're going to get found out in these tournaments, because you're always going to get asked the question, can you stay the pace on the longer runs? Well, that's why most of the people have ended up on the one-loss side, because it's too hot on the winner's side. Now this is another little testy one. Potting the 5 isn't the problem, it's just the pace off the 5 to get good in the 6. And you just want to stay top side, so that would tend to suggest that it's just a roll in on this 6 and come square across for the 7 into the opposite middle. But it has to get the angle though. And that angle, that's a good enough angle. Now, a roll forward and getting to the wider side of the 8 looks on. Well, look at the angle he's got there. Yeah. Just a wee bit more of a bounce than I would like. And now this makes it a slightly more difficult, and just judging, because you've got to get the pace in this to get the ball to the hole. That's the problem. And then of course that pace is then manifested in the cue ball bouncing off the railing and down the table, but anywhere in the middle of the table is going to have a shot. But it's another gift for Potman, and this is all Potman's getting. He's getting hand-me-downs. He's getting second-hand racks he's getting given to him. Racks that should have been hairpigs that have been gifted to Potman. So Potman gets to 3 and gets the break. Let's have a quick look at the Friday night 9-ball bracket. And we'll see that Houdini's playing Bankster. Who the hell's that? Supermalt is playing Bav. Larry's playing Christian and giving a handful again. There's a good first match for Larry. He's given 5 and out to Christian. Stefan playing John Boo. Stubb playing semi-pro. Semi-pro getting the 8-ball. And who's that? DJ Redo playing Spectre Dawn. Simank's playing SD92. And Columbus playing Charlie Bravo. Anyway, so Potman's break has come up dry. No surprise there. He's not had much else going for him. And Hairpig, if he can get good on this 3, should be running out. And again, that little bit of doubt with the position, because he may well have been checking that cue ball slightly. But look at the table. You know, Potman's coming to the table. It all hinges again on the 3 ball. If you can get good in the 3, that leads you to get good onto the 4. Now, what's he got here? Well, he's got to just gently draw off this 3 and punch it in so that he comes past the 5 and can see the 4. That's the shot. He wants to run forward again, you see. He wants to, he'd rather run forward and run into the space, and he could have played the little stunt and the little draw across for the 4. And now he's got a similar problem here. The angle he's got on the 4 wants the cue ball to go this way. So now the dilemma is does he want to go this way and run and just leave the long 5? We're not playing for better position here. We're playing just to pot a ball. He's going inside to try and, well, he's not got to the rail, he's just trying to nurse it in. And now he's got a bigger problem because he's the wrong side of the 5. If you keep doing the shot that's not getting you good to the next ball, then eventually you come to this state here, where the 5 ball's no good to get onto the 6. And that's where the mistake comes, because he's played that with loads of inside right to go through and kick off the rail and get to this side, but made the shot in potting the 5 that much more difficult. But that shot didn't go wrong there, it went wrong 2 shots ago. And it is a big factor in running tables. And not just running tables at 9-ball, but in playing any billiard game of any description for the most part. And getting onto that next ball, whatever ball it might be. It might be a red in snooker, it might be just getting from the 5 to the 6. But you've got to look at where the ball is lying, the object ball that you're going for, and where's the best place you want to be to get to that ball. And it's a case of lining them up, joining the dots time and time again until it becomes second nature. Well, there's another gift by hairpig. He's been very charitable here. And Potman, again, once again, anything but straight off this 7 onto the 8, and he's going to be straight. And now, well, he's inside the 8, so he can run it. He can run it forward, punch this in, but not too much top. Somewhere past that right middle pocket is where you want to be. And that looks good pace. We'll give him that one. Or rather, hairpig's giving him that one. As he has given every other rack that Potman's got, as far as I can remember. Because Potman hasn't really won a rack. In that sense, he hasn't been proactive in winning racks. He's been tidying up the crumbs that have been left by hairpig. And that's no way to say that you've contributed a great deal to the match. Because, let's be honest, he hasn't. So, dry break. This time, again, from Potman. Well, you can make sure that you thin the 1 but miss the 8 and get good distance here. That would be the order of the day. I mean, he could try a full blast cut along the rail onto the 4, which he has done, but never guaranteed he was going to be able to see the 1, but in this case he can. Risky shot. And I'll have a quick drink. So we are 44 minutes away from the second match of this evening. So McGill's up 10 set. Well, the match has just started, hasn't it? The final session. So O'Sullivan needs to get a good start. Aye, McGill wasn't missing much this morning, I'll tell you that. He was bloody rock solid. Now, what gifts is hairpig going to bestow on Potman in this rack? Because that 8 ball is extremely awkward where it's sitting. And obviously, it ain't going past the 9 down this end of the table. So, provided he can get up and see the 6, he needs to get pretty close to this 6. Now, is that too straight again? Aye, it is. This just again means it's awkward to get anywhere good on this 7 that'll allow him to get good on the 8. There's no obvious way of getting there. I mean, he can punch this in and spin to the side rail and get out, which would mean that if he can take the 7 into the same pocket, he's going to have to run the cue ball around to get into this gap. That's the best that I think that he could come up with. Well, he sees it a different way. He's going from this side. Now that angle, if he plays this and stuns it, he wants to make sure he stuns past the 8. He doesn't want to stun into the 8, he wants to miss it. And he's made sure of that and he's played it well. That's a good shot. But you see the difference there is his hairpig is getting round to playing the right shot. Maybe in a more roundabout way than the way I thought of doing it, but he still got there, which is the most important thing. And it's stuff like that. Well, once again, hairpig is giving it away. Well, this is a tough cut in the 8. And this time the jinx in the room is miasma, because as soon as miasma started typing, that's when hairpig missed. So don't blame me. But it's another one. How many racks is Potman going to be handed here? Because this is another one. But it really doesn't say a lot for your prospects if all you're getting is gifts in the match and you're not actually creating your own success. And Potman's not done one yet from anything I can remember. He's had chances to run out, blown them, and he's got a great chance here. So let's see how he does. He's potted the 5, the 7 and the 8 in the break, and he's got the 1 where he wants to run through and get up past square on this 2 ball. He has to be brave enough to almost snooker himself here, or he chickens out and leaves the bank. You see there, now we're in doubt as to what he's playing. He's looking at a reverse bank here, and he didn't play the right shot, the brave shot to get here. And that's where he's going wrong. He's relying, pulling out things to keep him at the table when he's not relying on playing the right shot to get to where he wants to be, to have things in control. Well, he's decided he's going to play the safety. But there's plenty of evidence on the things that Potman needs to work on, and that is the prime thing he needs to work on, is the right shot clicking in his head, and it clearly isn't happening, or else he'd be trying to play them. He doesn't see them that way. And that's the difference between just being reasonably ordinary in the match, or actually creating things to happen for yourself, constructing a little run, winning a rack without it being handed to you. And now he's having to kick himself out of trouble and hope he gets lucky, and he needs to hit the rail, which he has done. Now how lucky is he though? Well, that's not bad. He'll settle for that. I mean, this 2 will cut into the middle, but you've just got to give it a blast and let the cue ball do its thing and run and hope you see the 3 if you're going to play that. Is he going to try and see enough of the 2 to bank it? Because there's a danger of a double kiss here. Well, he's drawn off it by the look of it. That might be the shot he's trying to play. Where is the 4? What's that? Well, that's out the game. Forget the 4. Yeah. Well, Hairpig obviously hasn't really played a safety, and Potman, well, where would you want to be to have a chance of breaking out the 4? You would want to be like here, wouldn't you? Something like that. Or there with the cue ball, so that you get an angle. Now, what's that line right? He's too straight, I think. I think he could maybe pinch a bit of this 3, just to run through and spin it and try and get to them. He might be able to. He needs plenty of top and a wee feather a left to try and get that kick off the rail. He's just playing top here. I'd be giving it a wee bit of help. I don't know whether that's going to make a difference at this line because he's dead straight, but well, he's not hit it, has he? I mean, what the hell's that going to get him? He's just not hit the ball at all. And he should have spun it. You've got to take a risk. And that's ended up nowhere. And now how does he keep it safe? Well, I would just push forward and just push it to the rail and check it out. I wouldn't do anything to bring it into play, because this might be your best chance of winning another rack. Well, that'll do. I mean, there's nothing easy. There's the enticement there for Hairpig to go for the bank. Yeah, you've got to hit the ball. You've got to give it a chance for to do something with those two balls. In the end, he did nothing. He's still in the rack though, for the time being. Now hairpig trying to get cute behind the 6 ball, but behind the 9 ball will do just as well. Well, there's nothing on with the 9 ball and giving this a kick, but he's not really got much of a choice here. He's going to be pushing this 4 ball over to the right hand corner of the table, and he's trying to run the cue ball around, avoiding the 4 and coming down here just to get distance. But for his sake, he's hoping that he can somehow get this to the top rail, but he's just not hit it. It was so difficult to do anything with that ball. So now hairpig, in a way, trying to redeem himself for the last 2 or 3 cock-ups that he's done that have kept Potman in this match. And hairpig, all of a sudden, again thinking about getting good on the 6, has left Potman another lifeline. Not an easy one, but the chance is there. And that's a good shot. It needs to get off the rail though. Well, he can pinch a wee bit. He actually wants to still push this in and come out. He doesn't want to roll through and roll inside this 9. He wants to get through that 6 ball, off the rail and out. And he doesn't want to be taking too many liberties with the cue ball either. And that will do, because that makes it a lot easier to pot the 9 from there than it would be to bottle out and end up in here. And suddenly he's looking at respectability here, Potman. But once again, it's another rack that, I mean, he's only had to pot a couple of balls, hasn't he, to win the rack. He's got the 8 ball in the break this time. Cue ball's going to scratch though. Oh, and look at the 9. If the 9 stays up, he's done for in this rack. And that's a disaster. So, hairpig with ball in hand, a simple roll onto the 9, and it's 11-6. So 2 racks away, and Potman thinks he's been done an injustice. And hairpig, ball in the break, but no shot. That 2 ball, I think it's a 2 ball, is just blocking off the line to the 1. So a simple enough push out. Now Potman should have reasonable cover here. If he gets this gentle enough off the 1, he can leave the 1 there or thereabouts and get down here into the corner and hide the cue ball. And that's not bad. That's what the doctor ordered. Now, hairpig can certainly spin off the rail and hit the 1, but he doesn't want to spin it too close because he'll chip the 6 instead. And he's got it very nice indeed. Although he's left it on for Potman. it's not quite Mount Everest, but let's just say it's Kilimanjaro to climb here for Potman. But is he going to make a rack work for him? Is he going to get this rack ran out? Let's see where he tries to go wrong. Well, he's gone wrong immediately because he's played a duff shot in the 1. He's left himself in no man's land in the 2. And not only that, he's tied the 5 up against the 6. So God knows what he was thinking there, because he just locked up any chance of running the rack. Well, there's no real benefit in potting the 2. But once again, he's just got a lack of ideas here of where he wants to stick the cue ball and where he wants to stick the object ball, because he's just left it right in play. Okay, the 5 and the 6, the way they are, I mean, that 5 ball's not really for the potting where it's sitting. And Hairpig done his best there to get a nudge, but didn't quite get there. Now, I don't know, I haven't got behind before, but you're looking to play the straight draw back and across and get a nudge. Now, I think that might be perfect, certainly for potting the 5. That has worked out very nicely indeed. The problem now, though, is running up the table and leaving a tight cut on this 6. You can certainly pot the 5. That 5 will pot. I mean, you don't need to study it that long. You just hit the point on that 5 ball and it's going in. There's absolutely no doubt whatsoever the 5's potting. He's sitting plumb on it to pot it. Right, now here's where the trouble starts, because that 6 ball is, what, 2 millimetres, 3 millimetres off the rail, maybe 2.5, and you've got to get it sweet and flush for it to go along the rail. And you've got to think about the 7, and he's completely missed it. And once again, Hairpig's come off the rails and given Potman another gift of a rack to clear up here. Well, shit, I'm thinking he'd ball in hand. I'm getting excited. He did nudge the 6. No, I'm forgetting he actually brushed it. Initially was thinking he'd missed it, trying to thin it. Well, that's a better hit by Hairpig. That's exactly where you want to be. I mean, I swear blind, that's a far better shot sometimes than a snooker, because it forces your opponent into hitting one side of that object ball, or there's enough room at the back of it to kick it up the table. But you've no idea where it's going. And this has got Potman in trouble. And well, you've got to remember it's rapidly approaching 8 o'clock. My brain's in shutdown mode at this time of night. And that's about as good as he could do. It will entice Hairpig into going for the bank. I've no doubt about that. It could be the straight bank into the top right or the double bank in either of those top corner pockets. But if he gets the right pace in the line, he'll have a good chance of getting this in. He's an 85% chance of this going in. And then the cue ball has to be somewhere good to have any chance on this 7. And Potman's still in the rack yet. Here it isn't over. and he's only given it the one chance of going in, and he's missed that, but he's got second prize. And once again, Potman, no great difficulty in kicking the 6, but no say on where this is going to finish. So once again, it's the old hit and hope. Oh, I've got to tell you guys about Red Dead Redemption. Oh, it was hilarious. I've completed Red Dead Redemption. I have done a while ago, and I was going about trying to do some of the stuff that was on YouTube, like find the graves and stuff like that. But anyway, to cut a long story short, I decided yesterday I was going to scrap the whole idea and start a new game, because I enjoyed it so much the first time round. I thought I'm going to do it again, and I started it, and I think I get into this, was it the second chapter, where we arrived in Valentine, and Arthur takes them. He takes the 3 women into town on the cart, and they go their separate ways. They go and see if they can, fleece some guys out of money. So these women are basically prostitutes, and Arthur ends up getting involved in a fight in a bar. And anyway, this is something I never discovered the first time round I played the game. I walked round the back of some buildings, and as I walked past one window, the pop-up gave me the option to have a look in the window. And I think it was the back, was it the back of the jailhouse or something? But anyway, I looked in the window, and I could see there was somebody sitting at a desk, and it said on the screen, you now have the opportunity to basically find out what's happening in the back room and rob them. So I thought, okay then. I took the bait. I thought, I'll go for that then. So, bearing in mind I've only got about $12 in my pocket since the game started. And so I goes into the building, and I goes up to the guy at the desk, and I gets the gun out, and I said, look, I want to find out what's in that back room. Let me through into that back room. So the guy calls whoever's in the room to come to the door, and they open the door, and you walk in. The next thing you know, it's a gunslinging routine. I've got to kill the guy at the desk, kill the guy that let me through to the room, kill the woman that's sitting there, and then the next thing I know, I've got a wanted level and $145 I've got to play as a bloody bounty. And I've only been playing the game half an hour. So I had to give up on that. I'm going to have to restart it again. That was a bad idea from start to finish. But having watched a lot of YouTube videos of Red Dead Redemption, there's an amazing amount of stuff that's actually in the game that you don't see when you just follow the storyline and you don't continue on. Like, I never ever found the hut where a meteorite had gone through the roof and obliterated the 3 people that were in the hut. Because I think you go in there and you find a meteorite fragment. There's crazy things like that going on in it. I've never seen any of the ghosts that are in it. I never saw the ghost train. Loads and loads of stuff. Little Easter eggs that I've never ever seen while I was in the game to start with. So I'm going to give it a good run. Now that the PC seems to be working okay now. But it's a beautiful game. One of the best looking games you'll ever see. Anyway, for some reason, Potman is still in this match, so somebody can write out a detailed report on how that's come about, because he's been dead and buried since he got 2 racks on the board, and yet he's only 4 behind. But is he going to actually win a rack from his own efforts here? And he's got a chance. Now this, well, do you want to do a little stopper just to Oh, he's just running through. Now, well, this is dangerous to go forward. Extremely dangerous, because he's going to be tight to that 5 if he does that. Can he avoid running into the 5 at this angle? Yes, he can. He can just do it. Well, this is just crying out for one of those stunny draw shots. Up to the middle pocket, and don't be afraid to hit it. That's the shot, because you've no problem getting the 7. He's ended up just a kill shot stopper in the 6, and use the angle that he's got to come down the table for this 8. He wants to come down the bottom half of the table for this 8 ball. I'm pretty certain he won't, though. I'd be very surprised if he's going to be brave enough to come down here, because there's a danger of a scratch here. But if he gets it thin enough and maybe checks it a bit, he can still come down and get that 8 into the middle. You see, he's threatening a scratch, but he's got there. That was well done. Well, now, again, you just go by the laws of physics, Captain, as Scotty would say. You just roll through off the rail and get out into the table. And for once, Potman has won a rack. A genuine rack that he's won. But the right time to do it, though. He's now back to within 3. And, well, what he wouldn't give for a 9 ball in the break here. That would seal the deal and really put the pressure on Hairpig. Oh, the 9 ball thought about it. It had a look. Decided against it. And it's ended up another dry. Well, Potman's had 3 breaks, I can remember, and they've all been stone cold dry. And in 2 of them at least, Hairpig's had a shot in the 1. And this is one of them. And these balls are all there. Well, I think maybe Hairpig's been looking at the finishing line for so long. He's forgot that he's still got to get over the finishing line, because he's bottled a few shots in these last couple of racks. Well, more than the last couple of racks. Oh, I think he's ended up dead straight. In fact, he might be slightly the wrong side of this 4. Let's have a quick look round. Yes, he is. He's the wrong side of the 4. So his bottom needs a wee bit of spin. Well, he's actually let it plain ball because the angle's good. The angle's good. And he needs again another good angle. Well, it's tight into the middle. He can't really cheat an awful lot in this 6 ball. He has to make sure he's going to get it. But got to get up for the 7. That's the problem with trying to run tables. Is always getting good to that next ball. But this 6 ball is fairly tight into the middle. And can't really afford to take an awful lot of liberties with it. The other problem again is he's close to the rail, which narrows down a lot of control that you can get into the cue ball in playing this shot. Because if he plays it plain ball, he's simply going to run up the table. And he can't really do an awful lot. He's digging down to just try and drag the pace out, and that's probably about as good as he could do. Well, full-blooded here if he wants to punch this in with a bit of spin and try and drop down in between the 9 and the 7. The angle's there to do it if he's brave enough. Need a wee bit of help and spin. He hasn't got there though. He's chickened out big time. Look at the line he was taking. If he'd hit it, he'd have been there. And Potman lives again. Now what's he doing? Is he going for the reverse bank? Reverse bank into that pocket there, or up there and into that pocket there. That's the line it'll take for both of them. He'll either get it flush or he'll get it short, and it'll go into this bottom right. Well, he's gone the other way just to confuse me. That will do very nicely indeed. Well, when did this match start? 6 o'clock. Jesus, we're here and we're an hour and 3/4 old, this match. This is a marathon considering the length of time some of these matches have taken. But anyway, this another tester for hairpig on the 9-ball here. Now, you know my theory on the 9-ball. Whenever you get the 9-ball and there's maybe a cut on it, don't spend an awful lot of time thinking about it. You either see the angle or you don't, but get it played. And he's got it in, and he's won away. And that's a reasonably straightish rack, maybe slightly left, but not much. And the 6 ball's hanging. Look at the 9. The 9 is very adjacent. And what's more, 2 balls going in. He's on the 1. The 3 ball's going to be a combo into the 6. And there's nothing safe. Well, hairpig may well be holding his nerve at the right time here. Loads of room on the left hand side. This will only go wrong by scratching in the left middle. But he's got to get that cue ball out of there. And where's the cue ball going? Commentator's curse, and the commentator's done it again. The left middle pocket scratch has given Potman his lifeline once again. Now Potman is looking at the combo in the 9. He's going to regret this. He's going to regret this, I think. Yeah. He's looked at it, but you've got to take the run out. I mean, it's a big distance to play that 4 onto the 9. I mean, the 9's not going a great deal of distance, but is he going to be reliable enough to get the run out? Is he going to be reliable enough to play the combo? And this angle on the 5 isn't a problem. But he just has to make sure that he checks the cue ball a wee bit off that side rail, just to bring it into play and stop it running away. And keep a good line in the 7. And that will do nicely. Just, well, I'd still be more inclined to give this a wee punch rather than just run it in. But, well, hopefully he's going to adjust his cue stick position, because he's got top right in this, and he's way up the top of the cue ball. You see, that's just, well, he had to get lucky there. And he got lucky. Well, a drop in a 9-ball to save yet another life. And needs a ball and a shot. Another fairly straight rack, it seems to be. That might be, it might be going slightly right. Was he won? He's won a couple. Ah, well, that makes it interesting. Meanwhile, Potman once again can't buy a ball in the break. Cannot buy a ball. And hairpig just looking for the long distance push out. Well, again, thin off the right side of the one. I would say still fairly slim. Now that is a good touch on the one. That is perfect. And the end result is excellent. And that puts the pressure on hairpig. Now it looks as if he's resorting to the jump stick at distance here just to go through the gap. It's going to need that low trajectory over the 4. Well, he's a bit too high jacked up here, but it looks it to me. Yep, it's too high. Even me that can't jump knows that he was jacking too high there. Because the problem with that shot is that when you play a jump from a distance, you don't want the ball, the cue ball to do that. You want the cue ball to do this, to jump a longer range. And he just dropped it down on top of the object ball. And he's given Potman ball in hand. And meanwhile, we are 9 minutes away from the last match of this evening's one-loss side matches. And that's the match between, who the hell's it between again? Albinario and LS3. Albinario, needless to say, probably won't be in the lobby yet. He'll turn up at the last minute. LS3, I think, arrived a wee while, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes ago, it seems like that. And Potman now, he's got no shot long on the 3, it's blocked by the 5. Now what does he do? Well, if he plays the cut into the middle 100%, he's going to run up and hit the 7. And the chances are he'll still have a pot in the 4. It looks like he's running towards the 7 if he plays the proper cut into the middle. But I think he's got to sort of punch this in rather than just sort of rolling it in for that line to take the cue ball to the 7. If he just rolls it, well, in the end he's not done either. He's decided he just wants to play safe. Still a sensible enough shot. And now I suppose the pressure's switched over to hairpig, even though he's only within 1. You know, you've still got to get yourself over that line. And hairpig now, oh, I would think, just dreading making a mistake. Well, he's given Potman a chance. And he has got to have this really thin for it to go in. It's off the rail. And there is enough there, but he's got to clip it clean. And he's got it. Now how's his luck? I don't think it's too good because that 5 ball still blocking the pocket. And, well, this is not a pocket to try and cheat because there's not enough there. There's no way that 4's get in that top corner pocket. So, why not push it down towards the 9? But if he does that, he could leave himself open to the snooker. Well, I don't know what he's doing. He could try pushing it between the 8 and 9 and just getting it down there. Now, Well, that's not bad because there's nothing left there easy. It's a very thin cut and it's very tight. It goes from this angle and from here, but to say it goes from this end here, it's very, very difficult. But he's got it thin, he's got it in, and that's a cracking shot. And so Hairpig, has he played the shot that's going to win him the match? Oh, this is a make or break shot. Try and get as close to that left side rail as he can off this 6. He wants to be able to just roll this 7 in. And that is pretty nigh perfect. That will do very nicely indeed. And this match is just going to finish in nice time for our final match of this evening, as Hairpig drops in the 8. And finishes off a 13-9 victory. Well, I must confess, I thought this would be over an awful lot sooner than it ended up being. But it's Hairpig that goes through. 13 racks to 9. Now, what's going on here? Who's this that's moaning now? Anyway, let's have a look and see what's happening Friday night 9 ball. Well, Stubb has done a runner. He kept that quiet. He's done a runner in his first match. He never said anything in the chat there. Who was he playing? Semi-Pro. Semi-Pro, tell us what happened. Semi-Pro was about to probably pot the winning ball and Stubb done a runner. And now Stubb's on the one loss side and he's 3 racks all with DJ Redo. Let's go and have a quick shufty at that. Well, Stubb looking to go through. Well, at least the folk are getting their money's worth in the Ronnie match tonight. And Stubb is through. So, let's have a further look at the bracket and see how things are going. I think the old nerve started to kick in there, Hairpig, because you gifted a fair few racks to Stubb, to Potman. Just leaving him the odd couple of balls to pot. Semi-Pro is 5-2 down against Spectre Dawn in a scratch match. And how did Larry get on with Christian? Oh, Larry won 7-4 against a handicap. Anyway, to the matter in hand, we are about 1 minute away from the room going up. Now, has Albinario arrived yet? Because I don't see him. And is LS3 here still? I think LS3's there. Oh, Stubbs playing Larry. How did Larry end up in the one-loss side? What the hell happened? I thought Larry had won. I'm getting totally and utterly confused here. Right, wait a minute here. I've read it wrong. Larry get beat 7-4 in his second match. That's where I went wrong. He get beat 7-4 by Stefan. That's why I'm confused. Right, so, has anybody seen Albinario arriving yet? Because I haven't seen him arrive. But the room has gone up. And LS3 is in. Albinario has arrived. I'm going in. So this is going to be our final match of this evening. This final one-loss side match between Albinario and LS3. Race to 13. Well, the one in the bottom's won it, whoever that is. And it's Albinario. So he is breaking off again from the extreme left of the table. Who is it that predicted the Potman score earlier on? Because they were pretty close with their guess. So they were something like 13-9 or something like that. But I think they got the score round the wrong way though. I think somebody plumped for Potman with a 13-9 win. Anyway. LS3 playing the double kiss. And that's a good result, I think. I don't think there's any of that one ball showing. And that's a pretty good safety as well. 2 ball acting as a blocker. Oh dear. Oh, it's really get to bedtime setting in. Now this 3 ball is a major problem. Because that 3 ball is not even a hair's breadth off the rail. I mean that's locked to the rail, that ball. So there's where the trouble lies ahead for whoever is going to get there. Now that I've got your attention, guys, there's a lot of big matches coming up. So there is. And I don't think, for some strange reason, if you give me a second, I'm just going to paste something. I'm going to try pasting something in the lobby, but it won't work. It's just to remind me so that I don't have to go and look at the bracket. Hang on a sec. No, it doesn't bloody well work with this thing up on the screen. I'm trying to remind myself of the matches that are on tomorrow. I think the first match tomorrow is the one between Mal and Snake Eyes. And then we've got Larry and Cobra. And then we've got one is there one in Sunday night or is it Monday? I can't remember. There's about 3 or 4 matches in the next 2 or 3 days that you don't want to miss. Especially if you're actually playing in them. You don't want to miss them. Well, that's a cracking safety. Because there wasn't much to be done with that 3 ball, but I'll tell you one thing, nailing that cue ball behind the 9 is excellent. I mean, that is literally giving LS3 absolutely nothing to work with here. Nothing whatsoever. Well, there's a wee tiny gap, but just loads of spin and hope for the best. Well, she forgot to hit it. She had the general idea, but forgot to hit it. So, the reward for the good safety is ball in hand for Albinario. But that 6 ball, again, the 6 ball is a problem. But it's only a problem because if we get this damn thing to work, it's a problem because the 5 ball's there. You know, the closer that ball is to the object ball you want to get to, the easier it is, the less you have to manoeuvre. And straight away Albinario has gone out of line. Well, he's played that well to actually hold the cue ball. That was very well executed. Well, he's totally froze out LS3 in this first rack so far. And doesn't seem to be in any different mood than he has been in his last 2 matches, Albinario. So Albinario is going to be off the mark. Meanwhile, what we want to do is get over to this bracket and just have a quick look, because where the hell is it in the bracket now? There we go. Albinario in his last match beat Jose 13-1, and then in his match before that he beat SD92 13-0, which was his first match on that one loss side. Now this is what the hell's the day's date? This is the 23rd. So tomorrow at 6 PM British Summer Time, we've got Mal against Snake Eyes. Mal will be the strong favourite, but Snake Eyes, it's all about him taking his chances. He did that against Mr. MC Clarkey and came through that match 19-12, played well to win it. He's going to have to play a heck of a lot better and very solid all the way through if he's going to get anything out of Mal. But anyway, that's first at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. And as we move down, we see that on now wait a minute here. Tomorrow's Saturday the 24th, and then on Sunday night at 7 o'clock we've got Larry and Cobra. These of course are all the winner's side matches. And then I think on Tuesday night we have Bedhead and Stubb. And that is that Sunday afternoon? No, wait a minute. What date's that? That one there with Spectre Dawn. That's Saturday afternoon. No, wait a minute. This is Friday, isn't it? That's Monday night. Or Monday at 7:30, I think that is. With Spectre Dawn and One Pocket Slim. Right, so I mean, these are all great matches. I'm just getting confused with the time of night and bloody me want to fall asleep. Anyway, those are all the matches to keep an eye on. I should have them all over the next 2 or 3 days. Once again, remember, if you can't be there to watch them, you can watch the reruns on YouTube. They'll all be up there. Meanwhile, Albinario is 2-0 up, but his break was dry in rack number 3, and LS3 has a chance to get on the board. And the 5 ball is the awkward one. And the 5 ball's going to be played as a high cut, I would think. Bear in mind where the 4 is, top end of the table. The 4 being there, the problem is potting the 4 and being brave enough to come down here, because that 9 ball gets in the way, and if you're not brave enough, then you end up playing it that way, with a high cut on the 5. And the danger then is running into the 9, trying to get out to get to the 6. So this could go pear-shaped rather rapidly here. So this is for 10 each, is that right, Matt? Well, it will be, won't it? Who was it who said he was he about to be 10-9 or something? Oh, it just wiped its feet. That was well played. And of course now, the other big problem is the 8 ball. The 8 ball is closely guarded by the 9, and it's going to have to be played very sweet and neat to get on this 8. Now, what does LS3 do? Because, I mean, you've got to, if you're going to leave this 3 as a cut, you're going to have to finish there to be able to get to it. But if you're going to be brave enough, you're going to drop it dead weight to the bottom rail. Well, she's going the short side of it. She's going to stay in the table. Oh dear, yes. Oh, what a big risk that was. Very big risk. And the only thing that could happen there was ended up in the hole, but she's managed to dig in. Now, if ever you want a difference there, and comparing it with the last match and how Potman got on, Potman couldn't get there. He just couldn't get there. You know, he just wasn't finding the way to get the job done. LS3 found a way to get it done. Admittedly, taking a big risk there going in the short side, but anyway, sometimes you just have to take risks. But get no joy in the break either. And Albinario has a chance on the 1 to get started. Can he avoid running into stuff here? Well, he's used the 9, and he's used it very well indeed, just to guide the cue ball into line in the 2. And now, well, he's got nothing really to do with the cue ball other than pot the 2 and run into the 4 if he has to. Don't even know whether he has to do that, but the line that he's taken, he certainly doesn't want to be running the 2 up there and the cue ball going here and ending up behind the 4. He's got to be careful, so he's just jacking up to avoid all of that and just stun this 2 down into the pocket just to stop the cue ball moving. Well, loads of room to draw into a space, but again he's going to draw inside. It just means he's got more control to do with the cue ball. And the bounce will have him sitting very nicely on that 5. You see the finesse is what Stubbs lacking in. You know, to be really consistent. He just runs it too loose too often, and you've got to have that cue ball on a tighter rein more of the time to be more consistent. And how long is Stubb going to survive with the potting escapes that he does do time and time again? We are going to find out. is Mal going to start playing good? Because as far as Mal is concerned, he doesn't think he's played all that good. Which is bad news for everybody else in the tournament, because when he starts playing good, the rest of you have got absolutely no chance. Because what I've seen from him hasn't been too bad. But anyway, Albinario just opens up the gap again. And he's looking for the little billiard. Oh, well, that looks too, that's too close. That's too close for him to get that. He would have had to probably have been here to play the billiard better on that 9. So now, is he looking to kick it off the rail and chip the 9? Looks like it. This will still be a cracking shot if he does it. And it was an excellent shot. Again, studied the angle, studied the hit point, and got it perfect. And that is a very strong start. To stay in the game. I mean, because the one thing you don't want to do is to let Albi get away. You've got to use all you've learned in the game. Bring it to the table when it matters most. Nice little billiard this time from Albi. The one ball's got away, but the one ball is on. Problem here though is the cue ball is a bit too close to this rail. And this is another shot where you want to try and get in control of the cue ball, but you're that far away for the object ball. It makes everything difficult. And he's just going to run through by the look of it and see if he can get lucky. And he has done, because he had no real 100% idea what was ending up here, but he's ended up not too bad. Shot in the 2, red 3 ball into the left middle, and it's going to be a 5-8 combo to keep the run going, and then it's up the table for probably, well, what could be a high cut in the 6, but if he gets good enough on it, he could maybe cut the 6 and run into the 9 to hold for the 7. And I've got severe indigestion right now, by the way. Oh dear, I've got terrible heartburn. Which could have been caused with me gulping my dinner down and trying to get ready for the stream. That could be something to do with it. Well, this is the one that's going to make or break the rack here. Now, what I said there previously, if he can get a line like that on the 6, he may well be able to cut it, but draw the cue ball to the 9. Now, is he getting to the red line? Well, he won't have a better chance because he's on the commentator's line. He could try it. He could try it. But then again, it doesn't look like it. It could have been Doon would have been a wee bit further to the right. He's going loads of inside to try and hold it for the 7. And the 6 ball is hung up, trying to be too cute. Oops, wrong button. And LS3 has been handed a gift by Albinario. I think if he'd gotten a wee bit flatter than the line that I was saying, he may well have tried that, but that was still taking a risk that he would have held good for the 7. But the shot he did play, it was only a tiny fraction of way out. Now that rack's going that way. That's the 1 ball, and that is the 3 ball. So we are 3 racks all. And we've seen some classy stuff already in this match. And that cue ball maybe just squirting out, and I think that one ball is live where it's sitting. And LS3 can see it. And what's more, she can just drop across if she's gentle enough to hold for the two. Now, well, this is the one where you go two ways. You cut this, you cut it into the pocket. I get my arrow to work. You cut it into the pocket, bring the cue ball across here for the three in the middle. If you go that way, you're coming up the table, and you're then in danger with these balls here to try and stay in the three. Now, whether she thinks she's got enough room to check this in and come behind the 9 and 6, we'll find out. Yes, she has done. Needs to slow up. Well, this is fine again. It's just the fact that it's a blind pocket cut. The cue ball running that way for the 4 into the same pocket more than likely. It's holding the line. With these, LS3 is just struggling to get in proper control here. Just for the way the balls are lying. Now, this line that she's got in the 5, again, the problem with that is to pot the 5, the cue ball wants to go that way. Now, if you look at where the 6 is, that 6 isn't going anywhere quick. So, big work in the cue ball to get good on this 6 from this position. And that's well played. Again, the right shot, the stun, using the angle that was there to stun across for the 6. It's always about playing the right shot when you have to play it and not bottling out playing it. Well, this is another little tester. These blind pocket cuts, it can't go to the top rail first, it's going to stay up. Now, how's the kiss in the 8? It is not bad at all. And LS3 has a chance to be one in front. Now, this is a good start for LS3, but you can't just win matches with good starts. She's got to stay 100% focused on it all the time. And that's another rack that's going slightly top left to bottom right. And a ball in the break, and the 1 ball is in play, as is the 2. Nice little kiss there onto the 5, keeps the 2 in play. And this is also what you need. You know, you've just ran out a rack, and then you get a ball and a shot, and a chance to do it all over again. Now this has got to be just gentle. Just roll it in, and the cue ball will hold its pace, and you'll have a shot in the 3. And now it gets a wee bit tricky, because the angle on the 3, you've got to go through and hopefully avoid running into that 6. But she's hit it. But the cue ball's pretty much got there for the shot in the 4. And this is a little testy one again. The angle's a bit too much for comfort. She may just go through off the rail and leave the 5 long down at the bottom right here. Let's see what she's doing. Well, it may well be the middle, but is it a good enough angle to be doing something with the cue ball? Well, this has got to be punched in to get that cue ball off the rail and out. And it was punched in alright. And you couldn't ask for anything better. A nice firm stun in the 6, back out for the 7. Oh dear, well, we're running way loose here. But plenty of room on this left side. And again, the golden rule is get yourself down past the left middle pocket to give yourself a good sight on the 9. And don't overdo it. But above all, get the 7 ball in first. And that pace is good. Missed the knuckle. And that is perfect. That's exactly where you want to be. Just on that first diamond past the middle pocket when you're playing up for these 9 balls down at this end of the table. You don't want to overhit them and then leave yourself something really ugly. And that is a cracking rack to run out. Well, are you just saying that, or what's the actual score, Matt? You're not telling me it's 12-12. And what does she get? A 9 ball in the break as well. Well, what a bonus there. And all of a sudden it's a 6-3 lead, and the ball's going in again in the break, and she's going to be on the 1, and the 2's going over the middle pocket. I'm thinking about it. Not quite. Well, this could do serious damage to Albinario's prospects here if she can get this rack. Tell me what the score is in the McGill match. 10-10 at the moment. Well, Albie's not pissing at any of the sort if you're actually watching the match stub. He's not getting a sniff at the moment. LS3 is running red hot here. Albie's made one mistake. That miss that he had. The one mistake Albie's made was that 6 ball where he hung it over the pocket, trying to cradle it in to hold for the 7. And since then he's not been at the table. It's been all LS3. That's the last time Albinario had a shot, if I can remember. And right now LS3 is well, she's doing everything that I keep going on about. This is how you work out a rack. It's how you try and run a rack. You're always thinking about what you're doing. Getting there and playing the right shot. Well, this is a troublesome one. It's dead straight in the 6. Now, is she going to try and run into something or leave it long? She's leaving it long. And it's another testy one. And got to watch the cue ball. Blind pocket shot, this 8 ball. Because you're looking there. You're not looking at the pocket. It's all about picking your hit point and just going with it. Going with your instinct. Well, that was excellent. A just nice and gentle cut in the 9. Well, this has been superb so far from LS3. It's been faultless. It's 2 racks in a row, is it not? And another ball in the break. And, well, this time, no shot. but she can certainly make Albinario's life a misery here. Oh, 3 in a row. I knew it was something good. That might be a bit too heavy, is it? No, it's not. It's excellent. And Albinario has run into a whole heap of trouble here tonight. He wasn't expecting this for Friday night. But he is well and truly being asked a question. And trailing by 7 racks to 3. And in a whole heap of trouble. Well, he's got the hit. And he's got it reasonably safe, so he can only be happy with that. Oh, the double kiss for LS3, but look at that, when your luck's in, your luck's in. The double kiss, usually the rack and ruin to everybody in any billiard game. And she's knocked it in behind the 8 ball. Well, you take that every time. And Albinario again getting a hit, almost scratching. But I think he's got not a bad result there. LS3 can see the one. Looking to maybe run up behind this 8 ball here. I don't know, she's looking and maybe looked at the angle there. Whether she can pop that there and run off the rail and around and out. It's got to be really thin though. It doesn't look a bad safety from here, as long as she can get it right up the table and take away the cut. But she hasn't done so. She actually got that 1 ball too heavy. It needed to be softer and thinner. But Albinario's been given a glimmer of a chance here for his first pot in about 3.5 racks. And look at where the 2 is. And that there, well, it's a great shot to be at least able to see the 2. Whether he can see enough of it to actually pot it legally is another thing. Yes, he can, but he's not ran far enough. He's going to have to run for cover here. And he's got the cluster with the 9, the 7 and the 5 to hide behind. So this is where he can get the good safety in and put the pressure on LS3. Or is he going all out for the bank? Because the 5 ball is no good where it's sitting. He's gone all out for the bank. And again, he has to then be thinking about the safety off the 5. Unless he's going to be really aggressive and try and bang this 4 in and spin into the 5 and 7. I mean, it's only the right choice if he can get there and do something with it. If not, then he can nail LS3. Well, he's trying to drop in behind it, but that nudge off the 9 has actually ruined that shot there. He would have actually been right behind the 5. Well, he's got to lock up the cue ball here. Well, that's giving LS3 something to think about. Now, how's our line? 2 rails, kick the 5 from behind. It looks like. It doesn't look as if it's a direct hit. It looks like 2 rails. Well, in the end, it's neither, and Albinario's drought should be over with ball in hand. See, I thought the two rail would have been better if anything, just to push that ball up the table if you got a hit on it. But it looked in the end that she did try at one rail, but obviously missed it. But now Albinario's got control. He will have the break. Is he going to get a decent break? Yeah, it could have been pretty tight for two rails. And Albinario's break has given him the 3 ball. And he may well have a sight on the 1. And he does. So he does have the chance to respond. Now, what's that up the table there? That the 8 ball. 8 ball up there, 4 ball down the bottom. So it's going to obviously be a 5-8 combo. But this is tricky. This is just, it's got to be dead weight to stop the 5 ball leaking away. And he's played it well. The pace is pretty good. The line is reasonable enough in the 6. But he's got to go through far enough for this 7 if he's going to get back up for the 9. And he's just got enough line that he can run through. And across. And pretty good on the 9. So Albinario, having won the previous rack, has broken round the next rack and has got it back to within 2. Oh, 3 ball gets kicked into the middle. 4 ball hanging. Shot in the 1. Not a gimme of a starter, but he may well end up trying to play some sort of combo or billiard onto this 7 and 4 off the 2 if he can't get good in the 2. So I think this this position in the 2 here, well, that is more than likely what he's going to do now. Difficult to see whether he's thinking 100% on the cut in the 2 rather than the billiard onto the 7 and the 4, because you would think that any nudge towards that 4 has got to knock the 4 in. But he's given it a full look at the cut on this 2. All out for it, dragging off the pace and nailed it onto the 4. Well, I think LS3, if she's going to do one thing in this match, it's bring out the best in Albinario. Because You know, early on he has been asked a question, trailing 7 racks to 3, and he's looking a serious candidate here for winning his 4th rack, running out his 5th rack, and running out his 6th rack right now, which I would say is a reasonable response. And once again, anywhere on the left hand side, even if he's top side, bear in mind where the 9 ball is, top side of that left middle pocket, somewhere between the 1st and 2nd diamonds is all you need to be. He's coming down the middle of the table to get as straight a line as possible, but that'll still do. He's going to be back to within 1. Well, right now I'm going to say it, this has been so far the best one-loss side match I've seen. And that's before it's done. It's been a pretty good standard so far. And, well, would you believe it? We've got the golden break by Albinario. And it's all square. And we have a match on. Well, that 1 ball was going into the middle, but it was kicked out the way this time. So Albinario's run has ended. But he's achieved 1 goal, and that's to get himself back into the match. And he's all square. And LS3 has a shot in the 1. And it just got the knuckle and held up. It did everything but drop. But straight away Albinario can spin around the angles, get out into the table. Or does he want to try and just drop this one in and stay in the short side? Yes, he does. Little brush off the 5. The only worry about that is it just makes it slightly more awkward to get in the 5. That's now blocked off by the 6. And of course now the line he's got in the 3. I mean, he could, if he wants to get too cute here, he could stun this in and drag off the 3, but if he gets it wrong, he could end up scratching. That looks like what he's trying. He's trying to punch this into the middle, I think, and just hold for the 4. No, he's just doing everything just to make me look a fool. He's just deciding to run away from it. But the shot I was talking about was risky. And lo and behold, he's missed a 4. And he's hooked LS3. But it's a bailout with the jump stick. Now, can this cue ball and object ball stay on the table? That's the question. And then, is she going to be able to have any chance of doing anything with the 5 ball if the 4 goes in? Well, it's going to have to be the bank. It's lined up good for a bank. Oh, that was sweet, and a nice little nudge in the 6 as well. So the mistake from Albinario may well have given LS3 control of the game again. Well, we're halfway through this match. And we are certainly by no means closer to working out who's going to win this. And LS3 is going to take her opportunity she was given and has gone back into the lead. But that's exactly what you must do. If you do get that chance, it's a must that you have to take it. But again, just when you want that roll of the ball, the brake comes up dry, and would you believe it, Albinario has a shot to get going. The 2 ball is a thin cut. He's going to come up the table for the 3, and he's going to have the possibility of making the 4-9 combo. It's not set, but he's hung the 2. He's forgot about the 2 and trying to get down to the 3. And LS3, can she get the cue ball out of there though? So that's 2 unforced errors in a row from Albinario. The last one cost him the rack, and this one has a possibility it could as well. Now LS3 may well have looked at that 4-9. She can see that it isn't set, but if she can get a hold of this cue ball, she may well be able to give herself half a chance at making it. Or is she going to try and chip into the 4 off the end rail? I don't know whether she's got the line that she can do it, or whether she can catch the 4 going past it. I noticed Cobra's keeping quiet, but his prediction, because I'm sure Cobra's prediction was like 13-3 or something like that. And that is, I mean, you couldn't ask for the cue ball to be in any better position to give yourself a chance of making this 4-9 combo. If you were going to sit it with your hand, that's where you'd probably put it. Well, you maybe put it there, but you're just looking at the gap between the 2 and looking at where you want to cut that 4 ball to make the point on the 9, and again, perfect. And all of a sudden, it's a 2 rack gap. And it's 2 errors. The important thing is, it's been 2 mistakes from Albinario, 2 opportunities that LS3 has got, and she's taken both of them, and that is the big difference between winning and losing against somebody who's maybe the stronger favourite to win the match, let alone being a contender to have a say in the title. If you're going to beat guys like Albinario, you've got to stay with them, and above all, when you get that one chance in a rack, you have to make the very most of it. You've got to do. You've just got to take them out. You can't be asking for 2 and 3 goes to win the rack. That won't happen. And so far, it's A+ for LS3 on that score. And LS3 will have a 4-6 combo to deal with very shortly. It's a lot easier looking, especially if she can get nice on this 3 ball off the 2 here. She can get herself in a good line on that 4. Once again, probably couldn't be sitting any better on this 3. Just to nudge it in, hold the cue ball, and pick that line for the 4. Now, the only problem now is that the line of the 4 is going to the 6 for the cut that way, which therefore means that the 4 ball is going that way. So this is where you've got no 100% idea. You see the line the 4's taken, it could end up dead, or it could end up with an extremely thin cut into the middle, let alone the fact the 5 ball is where it is. It's in a thin cut as well. This is a tough one. But if she can get this and just drop it in dead weight, that's excellent. Now, does she want to drop this dead weight as well and try and hold for the 7? Straight into the middle of the table, wee bit of inside. And again, the pace is good. LS3 has found her pace tonight, big time. The pace and touch is good. And having seen Albinario come back to square the match at 7-all, LS3 has grabbed the bull by the horns and stretched her lead again to 3 racks. She's now in double figures. And, well, there is a serious likelihood of one of the strong contenders for this tournament going out right now. And LS3 once again a ball in the break. The 2's in play and the 1 is in play into the middle, and it's going to have to be a 4-8 combo this time to keep the rack going, or to keep the run going anyway. And again, the angle is perfect in this 2, just to drop the 2 in and drop right onto this bottom rail and give yourself the best possible line. Well, having said that, she fancies it from distance because she's overhit that quite a bit. I would have just dropped that dead weight to the rail. But is it the billiard or is it the cut? It looks like the cut. Now that's got to be cut. Slightly away, and again played perfect. Now how's this line on the 4? Poker straight. Now, does she want to try and pinch a bit here? Because you could end up actually falling the 4 ball in here with this shot. So it's a big draw. And again, the draw pace is good. Well, this has been a really, really strong performance so far. The best performance I have seen from LS3. But can she keep it up? Well, it's all going to hinge on the 7. Because this is, again, it's nothing can be predicted here as to where the cue ball's finishing. Because it's in a tight corner. You're trying to get the cue ball out of there. Oh, the spin is working very nicely indeed. Around the angles. Off the side rail and out. Right into the heart of the table. Give yourself every chance of getting a good shot in the 9. And once again, she's found it perfectly. And now it's 11-7. Albinario trailing before, but absolutely nothing he can do because LS3 isn't missing. And the only thing that's going to scupper her chances here is this dry break. And for once, what's also gone in LS3's favour is she's left nothing on for Albinario. And that's a good safety. Well, she's certainly added to that. She'll certainly be showing, maybe not in the top 10, but she certainly boosted her racks ran performance. And not a bad kick safe there from LS3. I mean, this 2 ball is in no good shape where it's sitting. But Albinario, I'm sure, is working up a sweat here now. Trailing by 4. Well, the other thing as well is, even though you're on the one-loss side, if you're going to survive in the tournament, it's just as well you start coming good. You know, if you start playing well. And LS3, well, she's still 2 racks away, but she's done a heck of a lot for her cause in surviving in this tournament. And LS3 trying to get the breakout on the 2 there, no luck. Now, how do you get nasty here? Just bank the 2 and send the cue ball between the 3 and the 8. Try and use the 3 as cover, or all out for the bank and squeeze it in past the 6. It may well be all out for the bank. Oh, it needs to miss it. Yeah, it was just catching it too thick. So Albinario has his chance, and it may well hinge not only on Albinario running out this rack, but getting a break and a shot on his next rack. And that could well decide the way this match is going to go, whether Albinario is going to have a second bite at getting back into it, or whether LS3 is going to profit from any error that may well happen from Albinario. She's punished him severely for his errors earlier on. They've cost him big time. And now he's got himself awkward in this 6 ball. This is a tester. And this is a pressure shot, because he knows LS3 could be on the hill if he can't get this done. But his nerve is held well there, and he should be good to get in the 8. Well, I'm going to stick my neck out and say this has been the best match I've seen in the tournament, hands down. I mean, we've had final rack deciders, but we haven't had this standard. That's what I'm talking about, because that's what makes the difference between having a good match and a quality match. And this ticks the boxes as far as that goes so far. And Albinario has now got the break. He's got a ball, and if that 4 ball gets out of the way, which it hasn't, he's not got a shot. And he's back to within 3, but he's got to look for the push out. Well, again, if you push anywhere down the bottom of the table here, as we look to the empty space, you're asking for trouble to be put away somewhere. And that one there is probably not a bad one, simply because it leaves something. It leaves something to entice the player to play, but nothing easy to gain anything great from it. So obviously, if LS3 doesn't like it, she can push it back to Albinario, or she could try and play something better herself. She's still thinking about it. Well, it was all out for the pot. That was a big decision to make there. Now, how much is that going to cost her? Because it's given Albinario a start But can he get onto the 2? Anybody got an update on that snooker? What's happening with O'Sullivan and McGill? Oh, that's a good shot. He's found a gap between the 6 and the 9. He's not quite through far enough to get really nice in the 2, because he's the wrong side. And it's going to take another good shot. Very good shot to get reasonable and having a shot in this 3 ball. Well, this match has been on for... When did it start? 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock? I've lost track now. Is that an hour it's been on? Ronnie looking good for 11-10 lead, right? Cheers. I'll see the highlights at breakfast time tomorrow morning when I get up. They'll still be showing the rerun during the night on the red button. Well, Albinario under extreme pressure. He's not quite on the brink here. LS3 still 2 racks away. But Albinario is clinging on for dear life. But he's going to have to dig something out here, or he's going to have to get nasty. And what's it to be? The thin cut on the 4. And up and down the table by the look of it. He looks as if he's dragging off this 4 to try and kill the pace here. He's trying to nudge it in, and that's going to cost him. Is it going to cost him big time? Because again, he's just trying to hold to leave himself in the 5. He hasn't got the 4 to the hole. And LS3 can bail out with the jump stick. And then needs a bit of luck to come good and down to have a shot in this 5 ball. This could be the one that decides the match. If she can get a good nudge on this 5. Oh, she's got no nudge at all. She's missed it in the way up, hit it in the way back and got nothing. Well, Albinario will breathe a sigh of relief there, because that could have went in LS3's favour. Yeah, because you're on YouTube, Matt. I think if you're on Twitch, you'd maybe come through a wee bit quicker. It's just the way it works with Twitch and YouTube. Now LS3, well, trying to get cover, well, hasn't quite. So Albinario looks as if he's going to survive another rack. No, it's just the time delay between what you type in YouTube and what you type in Twitch till it goes through what do you call them? Restream, which is a website that then feeds out or it takes in all the chat from all the channels that I'm streaming to and then feeds it through the signal that you see on my screen. There will always be that delay, but the delay seems to be a bit longer on YouTube than it is on Twitch. So what I'm basically saying is, if you want your chat to come through quicker, try Twitch instead. But meanwhile, I didn't take my eye off this because Albinario is back to within 2. And the break looks dry, but what's more, Albinario's got away with leaving LS3 absolutely nothing. So, looking for the push out. Now is Albinario going to be tempted to go for the pot and the one? The pot and the one is not easy. But he knows that if he could pot it, he could still see the two. But he's declined it, and that's probably the wiser move, because again, why take on the pot when you can play a far better safety? And he's done that. That was the right shot to play. LS3's got the hit. How's the luck? I don't think... Well, the only awkward thing is that Albinario is right over the 5. And this is where you jack up and use the W key, step back, and then just pick your line. Line it up with the shaft to the cue to the ball. And that's how you can cheat aiming in VP4. When you're on shots like that where you're Chinese snookered. So Albinario has his opportunity to get back to within 1. Now, has he nudged that far enough away? Well, this is going to be a big test again. Especially if he's trying to thin that into the middle. I mean, that's got to be long, surely. You can't be cutting that into the middle and still hope to have a shot in the 5 ball. I mean, I would still, you know something, I'd be more inclined to punch that 4 ball into the rail, send it down there, and try and spin the cue ball into here. I'd be more inclined to look for the safety. We're about to find out. He's gone all out for the cut. He's brought the cue ball into the gap, and he's got a cut on the 5, which again, this time he must run up the table. He's just got to get the pace in the cut and try and bring this cue ball back up the table to see the 6. How is he going to be able to hold this? He's got the cut, but he's going to be hooked on it. And LS3, well, it's all going to hinge on the kick. Well, he was in a tight squeeze there, so he didn't have many options as to what rails he could go to, I don't think. But anyway, he's going to have to dig himself out of this one with a kick and get lucky. And he might get lucky. That might just be enough weight to get to the bottom rail. And he'll take that. I mean, it's not on the rail. But what it does leave is doubt in LS3's mind. Doubt from the point of view that that is a very tight cut at that distance. And it's looking like she's trying to come down behind the 8 and 7 here. Oh, she's got it too thick. But is she going to get the distance? Yes, she has. And that will do. Well, we know you would have cut the 6 stub. You see, that's the difference, though. At this stage in the match, you would have went for that, missed it, and left it on and lost the rack because of it. That's the difference. But anyway, Albinario is in dire straits here again. It's 1 bad shot, one bad kick away from LS3 being able to get to the hill. Because the way these balls are sitting, she ain't missing if she gets a chance. Well, Albinario's got the hit, but this time he's not got the luck. Now, what does LS3 do? Does she just try and nudge this in and stay in the table far enough so that this 7 doesn't go too square? That's the danger with this shot, because you can't do anything with the cue ball. She's nailed to the rail. I mean, if she runs the 6 and runs the cue ball to get back up, that would be the right shot to give her a good opportunity to get good in the 7. If she's going to get the 6 to the hole, this cue ball just keeps running and it keeps going that way and it keeps leaving this more square, and you're the wrong side of the 7 and the cue ball has to go there, 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 back up for the 8. So, well, in the end, she's done it all wrong, and that's the first bad shot of the match by LS3. And she's followed the 6 in, and it's given Albinario the lifeline he needed, not only to get back to within 1, but to use that break to his advantage if he can get it. Now again, if he just applies the general rule in this situation, you pot the 8, you get the cue ball down to here, or you get it down to here, and you can play the cut on the 9 every day of the week. And he's got there. Couldn't have played it any better. Now is LS3 going to be made to pay big time at the wrong end of the match? Because that scratch, that follow in the 6, could be the one and only big mistake that she's made in this match. But it may well be the ultimate one. It could cost her dearly depending on this break. Well, Albinario's got the first part of it right. He's got a ball and he's on the 1. And if he's going to continue this, it's going to have to be a long, gentle combo on the 3. I mean, he's got nothing else on. So the match is on a knife edge. And Albinario has played it well. He still managed to keep the 1 in the vicinity of that corner pocket. It was a risky shot, but in the end, you know the old saying, he who dares wins. And he took a risk there. And if he can get good on the 4, he's looking favourite to square the match. Well, he stuck himself to the rail as well, so this is just a plain and simple roll in. But he has to leave some sort of angle. But he's gone dead straight in the 6 as well. And he's going to have to squeeze this a bit. Well, in fact, he looks as if he's digging in, so how's his luck here? Oh dear. Well, I don't think he could have put it any worse. But he's managed to get it. He's managed to get it. That looked too close to pick the line, but it looked all too easy in the end. So 2 balls away from squaring the match. Oh dear. Well, I fear for LS3 if she's going to lose the match on that 6 ball. So Albinario, 11 racks all, has fought his way into this match twice. And that rack is twisted. He's got the break. He's got a ball. But I don't think he's got a shot. Now, well, he can obviously push the 1 towards the 3. And try and just nudge it in behind the 3 and leave nothing on. He's not really got much other options on. So he's called the push out. Well, what's happening now? 11-10 to O'Sullivan, right? Got you. So he's had a good night's work so far. Well, you certainly have, Bedhead. You've got to watch this match from the start, by the way. You've got to watch this match in full. You can't come in at this time and watch this. You've got to see it all. It's been excellent. Every guy here will tell you this. This has been the best match of the tournament. By a mile, it has been the best. Because the quality's been excellent. There's been 2 errors by Albinario that's cost him a lead twice. He's got back into it. There's been 1 big error by LS3 and it's happened at the wrong time in the match, which has given Albinario the chance to get himself back all square. But no, you've got to see all of this. You must watch it all to see how it got to this stage. And now we're going to have a bit of cat and mouse here. This is a vital rack for either player. Albinario to come through as the favourite to win the match. And, well, LS3, I don't think I've seen her play better than anything else she's played in. Not that I got a lot of opportunities to see a lot of people in tournaments, really only these type of things, but she's been head and shoulders above anything I've seen her do in recent times. Oh, what a shot. What a shot by Albinario there. That is a killer. That is serious damage to LS3's prospects right there. And that is horrible. But that is what you've got to be, mean and nasty when it comes to it. Well, the line that he took was always going to take him that line towards those balls. So, I mean, he gets the reward for it though. And he's now got ball in hand. And he's taking his time because he's just working out in his head what he's doing and not rushing into it, which again is the right way to do it. But there is a time to get mean, there is a time to get nasty, and that is when your head's on the chopping block and you do whatever it takes to survive. Again, the pace and the line is good. The 5's over the corner pocket. He doesn't have to worry about getting on it. He just has to make sure he sees it. There's loads of room to get there. Well, he's staying in the gap. That was a risk. He's staying in the narrow gap between the 8 and the 6. Now he needs to miss the 6, which he has done. Oh, and it's looking even more like that 6 ball is going to haunt LS3. Well, whether it was lucky or not, the line that he played looks like he played it to me. The fact that he got the nice kiss and locked it up behind the 9 is another part of the deal. But if ever you need a shot like that, it was right then and now. And this is the end result of it. So I'm going to give him the credit for that. And anyway, It wouldn't have mattered if you two guys had played it either. You'd have said you'd have played it and got lucky as well. So Albinario somehow is on the brink if he can get a ball. Look at the 9 ball. Look at the 9, but the break. The 2's got in. He's got no shot in the 1. Well, he's got to push the 9 in. He's surely got to push the 9 in if he's got any common sense about him. Well, I think this is a big risk by Albinario. If he's not going to push the 9 in, well, he's finally turned. He's finally turned and looked at the 9. I'm thinking he was looking at. I think he's just looking at the line he wants to leave on the 1 ball to try and leave it partially covered. But he's got to push the 9. Cannot leave that sit there. And he's left. He's actually left nothing on this 1 ball. That is a good push. Because if LS3 is going to get anything this, she's going to have to jack up and bend it around that 5 and try and get the hit point to make the cut. That's the shot if you're going to be really outrageous. But that is a big, tall order to send that cue ball that way so that when it bends in it cuts the 1. I think that's the miracle shot. So she's just looking to get it safe and get distance, but she hasn't. Now, does it pass the 9? No, it doesn't. Well, when you get right down to it like that, no, we're clutching at straws here. It does not pass. And Albinario can't nail the cue ball to the 9 either because it's obviously blocking the path for the 1. So, it looks like the cross for the... I mean, I know what I'd be doing. I'll tell you straight away what I'd be doing. I'd be cutting that there to there and running this cue ball there to there. That's where I'd be headed. Into the long grass. Now, what's he looking at? He's taking his time to do something here. Oh, what a shot to win the match. It's the combo on the 9. Well, LS3 has got every sympathy, but the one that will haunt her is that 6 ball. She did everything but win it, but as I said earlier in the match, the question was been asked of Albinario, and he's come good at the end. What a match that was. Best match of the tournament by far, and it's going to take another cracking match to beat that one. Way head and shoulders above anything I've seen so far. What a fight, what a finale. But what a sickener for LS3 on that 6 ball. I'm not even going to say anything in the chat. All I'm going to say is very well done. Cracking match and well worth a rerun if ever there was to actually see that again. Excellent. But it's got to be a sickener. But that's what Albi will do. He'll fight to the death. And that's what the great players do. They hang in and they find a way to win. And he took his time on that combo in the 9, but he got the job done and got it over the line. Right, guys, I'm bailing out because I'm not going to stay to see the end of Friday night 9 ball. I'm away to watch the end of the snooker. But I hope you can join us tomorrow. We have got some big matches tomorrow. And on Sunday night and on Tuesday or Monday as well. So stay tuned. If you can't see them, you'll see them on YouTube. And if you didn't see the beginning of this match, you've got to watch the whole match. It's been a great match from start to finish. And congratulations to both players, especially LS3. That was the most impressed I've ever been watching LS3. She played superbly, apart from that one bad shot. And that one bad shot cost her the match. And that's how painful it can be at the end of the day. So well done to both players. Well done to Albinario. He is hanging in hard. He's hanging tough when it needs to be. And unlucky to LS3. It's just the way the cookie crumbles at the end of the day, isn't it? You make that one mistake. but you're against somebody who can punish you severely for it. And she dished out her fair share of punishment as well, has to be said. So, until we meet again, good night, take care, thoroughly enjoyed that, and I will see you again tomorrow.